Hello friends, it's Donna here from Donna is Playing Paper and DonnaDoll74 on Instagram. I have a video for you today that shows a two-part layering process to allow you to use Copics with embossing powder. Embossing powder is not very good for the tips of your Copic markers, and also it doesn't give a very good result unless you're so careful, which I'm not. And so today I'm showing you a way to layer up your image so that you end up with a beautifully Copic coloured image with lovely embossing all around it. The hero of today's card is the Helena Floral Butterfly stamp from Paper Rose Studio. You can find links to this stamp and everything else that I've used in the box below, as well as a link to the blog where you can find all the details of the card. The music for today's video is provided by Darcy Lewis Music, and I'm very pleased to announce that he is now studying composition at university. In order to do the double layered technique, I want to stamp the butterfly twice in exactly the same position, and so my Misty stamping tool is perfect for the job. You'll notice that in this video I've stamped the butterfly initially with a very light ink. This was so that the underlayer wouldn't show through when I did the gold embossing. But actually, such a light colour made it quite tricky to colour and to see where I was on the image, so I've often pulled that stamp plastic sheet back on top of my image to see exactly where I am. If you wanted to, you could easily stamp it with a darker colour, even black, because the embossing will give pretty good coverage, and I think even black would be covered up. Certainly you don't need to go as light as I did. You'll also notice that I'm not being super careful. These edges are all going to be covered up later by the embossing powder, so as long as I don't go outside of the lines, it's okay if I've got a little bit of a mess. On the flowers side, the lines are a little bit thinner, so I need to be a little bit more careful. I'm going to show you a little bit of the sped up colouring of a few different sections, and then we'll jump to the next layer. I haven't listed the exact marker colours that I used today, because really anything that is just a bit darker than the ink blending will be fine, even if it's a slightly different shade, even if it's a very different shade. Now, back to the stamping. Nothing has moved in my stamp positioning tool, so when I put the paper back in, I can stamp in exactly the same place. This time I'm using Versamark ink, which is clear and sticky, and shaking over some gold embossing powder. I'm then going to melt that embossing powder, and that will hide a multitude of colouring sins underneath and give a beautiful golden glow to this butterfly. I decided that the background was perhaps a little bit light, and so I wanted to add some deeper speckles. I've used some Ultra New watercolour markers to do this, and I've just mixed the shades that I want on my mat. I've also added some gold spatter to match with my embossing, and you'll see right at the end that I actually paint on some drops because I wanted a few larger spots of gold. I've layered up the card with some gold shimmer cardstock and some sentiments from the So Extra Black sentiment set, which I've gone around the edges of with a tuxedo black marker so that you can't see the white core of the card. I have some close-up pictures for you now of the card. Don't forget to like and to subscribe. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and you'll stick around for more. Bye for now.